All right, welcome everyone to the 274th weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream. It is June 1st as opposed to June 6th because for whatever reason, Microsoft reset their date timestamp. I always have day, month, year because that makes the most sense. And now it's gone year, month, day, and I got all sorts of confused.
Ripperoni pony.
All sorts of confused. That's my excuse, and I'm going to stick with it. So welcome everyone. We're actually on time. Well, most of us. I'm looking at you, CPC. Well, we got a small horde of people today, and some gonna slide in after they eat a slider or figure out why their computer hasn't resurrected from the dead. So starting off, we got Aliclaw.
Hello, howdy do.
Len, are you just here for your picture, or are you actually joining us?
I'm actually joining.
We got Len. And we got Pixinop.
Hello, I am. Hello.
Oh, it looks like CPC.
Wait, are we already streaming?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
No, I still haven't fixed anything. Everything's broken still.
Well, she's gonna go try and keep fixing things, and we're gonna stream.
I will mute myself until I can figure it out.
Look, it's a horde of people.
No stress. And we have LD.
Brains!
Nom nom.
Brilliant. Wonderful.
Yep. This is me. So, as always, if you have any questions or any art you'd like to submit, please feel free to fire it. If you got any critique you would love to give to other artists, please do that at all given times. It's great for you. It's great for your health. It will increase your life by at least 10 years every time you critique someone. You will be given, I don't know, $1,000 at the end of 98 years per picture you critiqued, of course. And you'll even get a colorful horse.
Like a real one.
Like a real one.
It goes like nay Winnie.
Yeah.
You know, all the fixins.
Now, you don't get choice.
We'll organize all that for us.
Yep.
It'll be fine. It'll be good. Unfortunately, you don't get the choice of color or species. It's just sort of a blind bag thing. We just sort of reach into our bag of horses and deliver it.
Bag of real horses, God.
Bag of. All right, so let's go on to our first picture. We got a picture by Len.
Yeah.
Len. Oh, there's my mouse. Any questions in particular on this lovely, lovely Luna?
I haven't drawn ponies in so long, I can't tell if everything is okay or if everything is wrong.
It's been a month and a half since we saw your last picture. How is that so long?
For me, it's long, okay.
It's all wrong. No, it's good.
Yeah, no.
It's cute.
With
Yeah.
this thing down the bottom.
Yeah.
It feels like it's sort of cutting into the back. Like this should just be like up, just a little bit more.
It also feels not centered. Because if you look, like your face has gone full profile here. Maybe a degree or two off, but mostly full profile. That thing's like 5 to 10 degrees turned on her, as opposed to being centered. Because it's her royal bib, right?
It's fine. That's artist tricks
Royal.
to make it look like it does have a half circle in the middle here.
Yep, exactly.
I do really like the stars up at the top. That's a fun effect they've carried through. If I could though. Oh, you're taking away the magic here. Speckle colors into it, because stars are not white. Stars are actually lots of gorgeous colors that really fit into about 7 different color short bands of them based on. Anyway, colors. Let's get some reds.
Yeah.
Let's get some oranges. Let's get some blues. You won't ever see a green, but let's get some violets. Things like that. It'd be great.
I mainly struggled with this part of the hair because I was always blocking the eye. I'm not good at drawing the hair. And then everything else just kind of feels off because of that. I don't know.
Well, I think you've sold that curve, but the fact that she goes bald in the middle of the head is slightly confusing to me. So right behind her crown, you've left out,
Oh.
yeah,
Oops.
just, a little bun or a little whatever you want there. My layers keep changing its names. That's fun. I really have nothing else to say. It's wonderful. Maybe, well, if you want to be pushed a direction, I would say expand. A bust is awesome, but there's the rest of the horse.
Yeah.
Let's get 2 horses or even 3.
Whoa.
Or even 7 in one of my old arts.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's too many. You need
Oh.
to.
Yeah.
They need to
I
be
started
forming a
with like
pyramid.
6 ponies.
Yeah, that looks good. I'm always a really big fan of like making this thing like really big, Boosh. Giving it some like
Yeah,
big
give it
weight
some.
and stuff.
That way it doesn't feel like fabric wrapped around. It's like this whole regalia thing.
Chonka,
Now I'm just
as
gonna
the
stick
kids
with
say.
royal bib.
No, it looks good though.
Yeah, I really love how glossy the hair feels. Like it feels like there's almost like this bubble around the hair, giving it a very nice, shiny, glossy, sparkly,
These
starry.
little highlight things, I love them. I
Yeah.
love how they look.
That wasn't the idea, but it turned out like this, and I'm happy about it.
All right. Shall we move on to our next picture then?
Yeah.
I think so.
Awesome.
Looks good.
Squeak, squeak, squeak. All right. It looks like Fluffy's Eye has joined us now. Hi, Fluffy.
Hello.
Hello.
I hope your slider was delicious.
Nom nom nom.
I am eating noodles as we speak, so I have push to talk on.
All right. Our next picture is by Gwenda Sebelin. Made another drawing of my persona, Skyfeather. Her colors are based on my favorite bird, the Irulian jay. Irulian? I don't know. Jay, which is pictured here too.
Am I crazy or have we done this picture before?
I don't think we've done it on the
We've
stream.
done the OC.
Okay, because I remember the exact conversation where it's like, oh, here's my OC, and then here's also the bird. So my brain was like, we've done this.
I don't remember it.
Ellie's brain is just too good. Oh my god. Please be quiet, phone.
my brain is noise. Just like that.
Yep.
That was the other one we did of theirs. Just put it in our chat. It was a traditional one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the little mushrooms. The mushrooms are
So,
really sweet.
it's good. It's a super good picture. The eyes are going pretty far into sort of the side of the head here. What I tend to do, I've probably said this before because I say it like all the time, is whenever I like mark out the head shape, I always like reserve a bit of space on the side of the head that's just going to be sort of empty and for the ear to come out of and all that sort of thing. So doing something like that and just pushing the eye that way a little bit or making it a little bit smaller like that would probably help out there. And with the muzzle,
Unless you want to have a basketball head, that's up to you.
yeah, that's fun. That's fine too. With the muzzle in this sort of direction, you'd probably see both of the nostrils, something like that. So that's just a small thing, but Yeah, and then with that you can also like do fun changing, just messing with shape of the muzzle itself and all that sort of thing, and experiment with all that kind of stuff. And the far cheek is always good when you're on this sort of angle. So you go boom, and then boom. It's a little bit of a pudge out. Yeah.
Something I'd point out for the tail is just be very careful when you wrap those tails around the ponies, because sometimes you can accidentally make them very, very huge. Like this tail at this moment is spreading out very far away from the body, yet it's covering all this space, so it's almost feeling as if the tail is about the same size as the whole body of the pony. So when they're coming around, just keep in mind some of that length is going to be cut off from the fact that it needs to curve around the body. So if we just, pull it down a bit and have it meet an edge along with the leg here, and just have it can rest right next to the pony. And if your pony has a huge, huge tail, that's totally fine. Mine does. My rules for my OC is the hair and tail can be as big as whoever wants to draw it. So it's just knowing if you want to do that on purpose or if you want to keep a consistent size with the pony's tail.
All right. Anyone else got anything to comment on this lovely horse?
Your cutie patootie.
Super good horse.
I do have a question for the artist, though. The drawing that it appears the horse has done, this Dragonite, I believe, Pokemon.
I think so, yeah.
Where's the subject? Where's her references? Come on, use references.
Maybe she needs to join the MLP Drawing School.
Yep.
I wonder
Brilliant.
if there's like a Pokemon drawing school. I know there's a furry drawing school.
Now, who
They'd
would ever
probably
make
focus
a
well into Pokemon.
who would ever make a drawing school for a small community?
Yeah, no.
Huh.
All right, let's move on to our next source. This one is a Rainbow Dash. It's by Sir Cheesley. I'm really into retro art styles, so I thought I'd give the main six a try. Nice.
It's really cute.
I like it. Cool.
It reminds me a lot of a light box or a shadow box.
Yeah, that's it exactly. I'd almost be interested, like how you have all the shadows dropping as a light box would do. You could also do that with like these pieces here and the little sparkles and have the whole thing, have the same feeling. I think that would be really interesting
I
to
was
build
thinking the
upon.
same thing.
Oh,
Yeah, just entire thing. Drop shadows everywhere.
make it all pop.
Yeah. I just kind of removed the thing between there just because I don't know, feels it feels a little bit too much when it's that. Like I could see like a little bit less of a shadow there, but just removing it also works. Makes all of this feel like one consistent piece when especially when this, like the wing closest to us and the head are sort of the same color.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of expect them to be on the same layer almost kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It really does depend the direction you're looking to go. Like someone was going ahead and outlining the legs, just to add the bit of value to the or a bit of shaping to that. But if you're looking to flatten it out as much as possible, then definitely removing that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Oh, and just a quick placement thing. Be careful of the tail here. You're coming out a little low from the butt. Just remember it follows the spinal cord, so it'll pop out up top there. A little more like that. It's just a placement, a little adjusting. Be careful of that.
I mean, I'm looking at the muzzle, and it's obviously placed over to the side a bit much, but I think that actually helps with the sort of, if you're going for a very flattened style, because there's not much you could do to really emphasize that there's a muzzle there if you're giving it no depth. So by having it sort of cartoonishly put off to the side, it makes a lot of sense. Once again, that all depends on what you're truly going for. Without you being here, it's just sort of up to for us to gauge.
Yeah, I think the muzzle over there and the eyes over there looks really good. It definitely gives me the retro sort of cartoony, you know, Tuesday morning cartoon feeling. I like it.
Yeah, I can get behind that. All right. Anyone else have any other comments? Any other points of critique?
With the hair, at the moment, it looks a little bit like putty-ish sort of a thing because each one of these separate bits of hair is separately drawn, and so things don't quite line up with each other the most well and all that sort of stuff. What I'd probably look at in your software is there's probably a way where you can, for example, this hair shape where you can just draw the entire hair shape and then have a layer on top that basically clips this layer, and so you can draw, for example, this, but it will only color in what's already on this bottom layer, that sort of stuff. There's probably going to be an option like that where you can clip a layer to the layer below it, or where you can draw this hair and then lock opacity on this hair layer and then just go through with a different pen and do that sort of thing. And that might help you with these hair segments to create a more nice looking sort of a thing. If you have any dramas with that, give us a shout in the Discord with whatever program you're using, because we can definitely dig up those options for you.
Hmm.
I was thinking about one more thing while looking at this. The watermark you have for your name. Totally, if you're gonna go with the style, you should pull your name into the same style. So curving it around the side of the big paint swatch thingy you got going on here would be a perfect thing. Drop shadow on it, make it part of the piece without making it intrusive. It's a good way of putting your logo up there or your name.
Go crazy and try to do some like neon effects with it or whatever.
All right, shall we move on?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
good drawing.
What is going on over here?
First, I ruined Ali's attempt to draw the body, and then I drew it in green and it looked like a frog.
Wow. The middle
Also,
creature.
my pen is working again. I just had to destroy all my tablet settings and start from zero.
Proud of your tablet.
I am
Alright.
not.
All right, so this is by Finality MLP. I'm really struggling to make my digital work look any bit decent. Day 5. Only 5 days? Is that what I'm reading right on this one?
For only 5 days
How's
in digital, looks pretty good.
how's your traditional work? I said that right after you finished reading the things, but I forgot I had push to talk on.
So, my advice is you're trying to go for like the nice clean lines and all this sort of. Don't. Clean lines are a scam. They're bad. They'll So
Excuse me.
get yeah, I know, but they're a scam. So
It's true though.
get a very small brush. Lower the opacity a bit. So here's like 100% opacity. Here's like 90% opacity, like 80. Get something like 80 to 90% opacity, something like that, and then just go and do some stuff with that for a while, and be okay with it being
Yeah.
uh,
What we're talking about
not
specifically
very
is
clean.
to actually do sketching and sketch in a messy style rather than in a clean style.
Yeah,
Uh, I
because where you are right now, clean is probably a bit too much to sort of jump for. But
just line.
if you do, yeah, if you do this sort of being okay with being a bit sketchy and all that sort of stuff, that's probably going to teach you a bit more about tablet control and get you to the point where you can do this sort of stuff. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. And feel free to go, Fluffy.
I was just saying, like, what you've done is line art, and what Pixie is saying was that you need to sketch, and trying to sketch with like exact lines like this is not the best way. You want to be loose and free and keep it flowing, because you've got to be basically just be putting down ideas and then erasing and building off of those ideas. And so it's really hard to do that when you're trying to be exact to make everything perfect on the first time you move your hand. And what I would personally advise is if you have a scanner or a phone, just draw with a pencil and paper and an eraser, and then take a photo of that and try and draw over that. And if you want to do digital art, and see how that goes. But like whatever you can do to just make the sketch a sketch, it doesn't need to look amazing. It just needs to be the idea, and for you to get the anatomy down, it's a working board for you to experiment and learn and try things, and then retry those things and give up on those things and try something else. And then once you're finally done with the sketching, like, yeah, this looks great, then you can do your clean lines.
Yeah, exactly. Like for 5 days doing digital stuff, this looks good. But
Hmm.
if you're expecting, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, why doesn't this look like all the digital art that I've seen in the past? Then you probably need to adjust your
Yeah,
expectations a little bit.
it's a change of direction we're explaining to you.
Yeah,
Mess is
Yeah.
good. Mess
You
is
got
friend.
this.
loose is fun. You can
Keep it up.
mess around with it and do all that.
So
Keep
next
going.
time we
It's
see you
really
submit, we better see an undersketch.
yeah. It's really fun to also if you're doing the lines that are like 80-90% whatever opacity, also doing the same thing for your eraser I've found is really cool.
Yeah, I
'Cause,
have like a big soft eraser that is about like actually pretty close to what you said, like 85% opacity. So it kind of like allows you to either like subtly just erase soften a little bit of something so you can clean it, or you can like mostly erase something but still have a bit there just so your eyes have reference to go off of. And speaking of references, I wanted to say, like, feel free to share what references you're using, because we'd love to see them. It would help.
Just like to
I mean,
correct
I
you
assume
on
you're using references.
what are we being corrected on?
they do have under sketches. They sketched this out traditionally first and then imported it in and then drew over top of it.
In
Okay.
that case, it's a matter of technique. So, what I see from your lines, especially from, let's see if it will let me draw. Nope. Uh, that's weird. The part around here, it really won't let me draw. It was on blue a second ago. Anyway, the the part around like there, especially, but really all of the lines. They tell a story that you're sort of like trying to do it in one hand stroke, like being super careful and methodical and very, very slow as you move your hand around. Or maybe you're not, but it feels like you're not doing the lines the right way. They should be in like sort of singular swooshy strokes. It really helps to watch people draw to get an idea of like how to do the lines. But I was just explaining this to someone the other day as well, like how to do, like, I do the line art with my pictures. It's a case of, firstly, I'm assuming you're using a tablet. This looks like you've drawn it with a tablet, and I hope so. If you're using it with a mouse, there are other techniques you can be using with a mouse to make it viable. And then having your hand in the right place, I have my other hand on my keyboard with Control Z ready to go, and you just try the stroke in one single swift motion. It should take like 3/4 of a second at most. And then after that stroke is done, if it isn't lined up, I just undo it and retry, retry, retry. Then maybe if it's still not working, I'll turn the canvas at a different angle and try going at it from a different way. Or maybe I'll try doing it in 2 strokes, so I do half of it, and then like erase whatever bit of the line goes off course, and then try again from where I left off, and then just clean it up. But that gets you to have some pretty natural lines, and also make sure your stabilizer is set how you want. You might need to play with it because it depends on the tool you're using, the program you're using, your tablet, how you like to draw, all sorts of things. So just play with the stabilization until it feels natural, and you should be getting cleaner lines.
Yeah, this drawing's good.
All right, shall we move
Someone
on to our
has done
next? Oh,
So I was just mentioning someone has done a lovely rendition down here, which
Horse.
is also great to look at. Boss.
oh, I thought this was the rendition. That it's a monster. That's what that is. All right, we're gonna move on to the next one. I'm concerned. Also, I'm totally adopting the thing that's here.
Furby. Oh yeah.
How do I send you coins for that?
So,
Question talk.
do you know?
It's a Furby Nue.
Do you know how to get a woo woo creature? You have to ask if you do requests. This one is if you do art trades.
Perfection.
Nice. All right, let's move on to our next picture. It's by Saborgan. It's tried 2 hours speed drawing, also slightly played with colors, and experienced 20% rule.
20% cooler rule.
No, the 20% rule. They talk about this in their post. You spend 20% of your energy or time to get 80% of the final results. Work becomes readable. Also, it means that spending 80% of the energy will give you 20, or will give you the rest of the 20%. Anyway, yes, effort. All right. It's a lovely horse. Love that it didn't spend too much time, like what happened with all the previous arts. But there are more mistakes. And again, you do need to make more references. Cool. So they've already accepted more references. I like this horse. This is a horse that I like. It is a horse that needs a boop and possibly a second muffin. Although an all muffin diet is probably not good for you. Muffins are quite high in the calorie count.
Pretend
You can
muffins
just
filled
come
with
She
and
does
help
need a hug
me
though.
move, and she'll use up all those calories she got from eating a second muffin.
Brilliant.
We'll just have muffins and hugs. That'd be- I don't really
With
have much I can think of for this.
with this muffin, you've got the nice sort of muffin texture and all that sort of stuff in the middle, and on the sides it just blows out straight to these colors and that sort of stuff. What I would kind of expect is sort of taking this texture, this muffin texture, and sort of doing it across most of the muffin, but for these parts to like shift it towards these colors. So for here, shifting it maybe towards green, a bit further towards green, and all that sort of stuff, because we're like taking the color and shifting it down around towards blue. And then same thing for over here. You can take the same color and then shift it a bit more towards orange and a little bit more and all that sort of stuff, rather than just 100% opacity chucking these colors straight on top. It'll help it basically be integrated with the whole scene lighting wise, but also keeping its like I think it's local color, keeping like the actual color of the muffin looking consistent as well.
Unfortunately, it appears as though one of her wings has gone missing. I suspect the other one is hidden by the arm, but if anyone could tell us where her right wing disappeared to, there is a reward. It is a half of a muffin. Don't have much more to say on this one. It's a lovely picture. The coloring's fun.
Yeah.
Lighting is always interesting and weird and strange and fun.
I know what you're going for the pupil. You're trying to get the the little lines that are inside the color. It starts with an S, I think, is the anyway. I see what you're trying to go for there. Unfortunately, the pupil is a solid dot. It's good, hard to find. With the definition that we're getting on things like the eyebrows, I would also go ahead and define those pupils just a bit. And then you can go ahead and add in the little linies if you want to get that little more detail popping inside the color of the eye, the iris. That's about all I got. Anyone else?
That's it for me.
Yeah, I think looking at this is really good, and it's hard to have these sorts of like really defined light and shadow colors, and then to have it come through and to have it look natural and all that sort of stuff. But this is a good attempt. Looks really cool, and just look at more tutorials and more all that sort of stuff to sort of get a better idea of sort of how to do it and have it look realistic if you're going for that sort of more realistic look. In the meantime, really cool picture.
Red is a weird color to highlight with.
I see it as being like warmth from the sunset, but it is a bit of a lower value than the main body, I think. It
looks a
works
bit
around the
hotter,
face. It looks a
honestly.
bit strange on the leg, I think. It's not often we see this like 100% opacity normal layer mode, just like a block of solid color shading, because it does feel a bit flat in a lot of cases, especially where it like would naturally change in hue. Like there are sometimes very stylistic things that use just like a single color of shading and it can work really well, but those are for very stylistic purposes and usually cell shading, in my experience. Not always, but that seems to be how it works best. But there's things like on the eye, it wouldn't be this stark red because it's not like a red uh, beam is being fired over her. It's light. It's making things lighter. Um, it would naturally like since the eye white is hard to highlight anyway. There are ways to get around trying to show highlighting on it and still give off like color. But um, so I would maybe like put like a subtle shadow over everything and then highlight on top of that, or you can do like a white sort of sharp highlight with a sort of a red, a very faint red glow around it, kind of thing to go off that. There are different ways you can experiment with it, but it wouldn't be as solid and also the exact same hue and color and value as it would be on the body. That makes sense. So there are some areas where it doesn't work as well. This orange immediately looks sort of warmer and better, I think.
If you're going for a something like a sunset, something which does sort of affect the values and the tones over over the entire picture, in most art programs, you've got like some thing that will let you sort of drag the color temperature between like cooler light and warmer light and that sort of stuff. And that might be cool to like experiment with that and experiment with dragging it more towards the sort of warmer values and stuff like that across the entire picture, because that might help more with the vibe that you're going for, sort of imbue it into the entire picture if it's going for like a sunsetty sort of a thing.
And on Clip Studio, it's called, you can either do hue, but I usually go for color balance and then you can choose
Mm.
how much red you want in the picture, how much blue, how much. It gives you a little bit more control than just shifting the hue.
All right, shall we move on to our next
And
picture? Oh,
I was gonna say there's also gradient maps that you can also use for the same thing. I know Clip Studio has presets for sunset, daylight, everything, but you can also make your own.
I like doing the gradient maps and then like reducing the opacity on
Yeah,
them. That's fun.
it's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Next picture.
okay.
And typing.
Someone typing up a monologue.
Click, clap, click, clack, click.
Chrome with hooves. So this is by Suddenly Ponies. You might remember them from such places as our subreddit and possibly our Discord, I believe. Haven't posted here in a while. Here's my best attempt at digital art. Pointers appreciated. Your best
Those are
attempt
cute
is wonderful.
slides.
Yeah.
Yay.
I got
It's
a
really
pointer. A good pointer for you. You should draw more. Just draw more because your pictures are wonderful.
That's a good pointer. That's a good point. I think we all need to take that into consideration from time to time.
Yep. Always. Forever. Don't be scared to make the ears bigger. Big ears are fun. Whoosh.
They do cause some structural issues, and in high winds they can be a danger, but
Yep. I find it it's usually a lot easier to sort of hand wave away big ears more than small ears. Small ears can sometimes look a little bit out of place.
I mean, horses have big ears, and then if you go towards donkeys, they're like whole knees on stilts.
I wish they were here because I'm interested in what sort of standing position they were in. Are they like because they aren't bent down just on one leg, but that's sort of how they've drawn that back leg. Because the two front and the left back are fully extended, right? So that means they can't be like leaned down on just the one.
It makes me think of the kind of position that I see my cat do where they'll like bring the leg down, but instead of being on their paw, they'll be on like the whole flat of their foot. So like the leg's extended, but the foot is flat with the paw, like that whole last bendy part.
Okay.
Mm. With the neck at the top here, bend it out a little bit because that will sort of help it look like it's like more fully properly connected to the head and providing proper support and all that.
We have noticed that the connection point of the second arm, the far arm, is quite a bit higher than the front arm. I think it might just be an artifact of how the body's twisted, but it would make more sense if the closest arm to us is actually higher, just because they're leaning backwards a bit. Yeah, so I just lower down that the far arm, just so that shoulder is in line at a bare minimum. Man, I just want to pinch these cheeks and go blah, blah, blah.
This is pretty intense. They look like a movie character, like an action hero. So you can probably make that a little bit more boosh if you're looking for that kind of thing. Sometimes that I sometimes that I do a lot when I'm like thinking about how to do this and I can't really get it how I want to do it is I just put like the hair
Oh, sorry, I think
in front of everything.
I'm doing my
That might work.
shading on a
No,
layer above you.
That's fine. That's all good. No stress. But yeah.
I'm doing all this shading to try. I think if it's what you're going for, to just have a mostly flat character and then have the eyes really stand out, the way you did it really works. I was trying to just make the shading of the rest of the body match the effort you put in the eyes. I mostly just saturated all the shadows, and then I also softened them a bit and did a bit more rendering work on them.
You can also just pull this eye forward towards the thing. So look at this muzzle, and here is sort of this side of it, and the eye sits like right up against it. Here is sort of where the other side of it is, and the eye is like a fair bit away. And if you notice, the eye is also coming a lot into this kind of like side of the head region. So pulling the eye over here a bit, do something like that, will free up some space at the side of the head, so there's like a little bit more of that kind of thing. And it will also make these eyes look like they are centered around the muzzle, sort of midline kind of thing. And that's the kind of thing where flipping your canvas can really help, because it's really hard to notice that stuff unless you're you've got something like that. Push, push, push.
All right, shall we move on to our next lovely horse?
Yeah. Super good horse. I love it.
Right.
Your rendering and stuff is super cool.
Next horse we got in line is by
Tofu.
Tofu. Totally pixing up.
Yay. Yep. So this is a headshot sketch kind of thing of Starlight Glimmer. Glim Glam.
Glimmy, glimmy.
Glimmy Glimmy. You said that the width of the head was looked a little bit off to you. I think it's mostly this. Like let me erase all this sort of stuff. This is like very big. Like if we follow this along, like the cheek kind of thing is like that, and it's just it's very, compared to this, it's like very very big. So let me go through and erase that out. Boom 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 boom. And let me think. Yeah, something roughly like that kind of fits the all that a little bit better, I think.
You can also use the chin to help you with this kind of stuff, because if you want a muzzle that more sticks out like a horse, the muzzle more goes forward. It doesn't just like melt into the face like some other animals. If you can just keep in mind that your chin's going back this far over here, your chin's also going to be going back that far over there, so it won't curl into the face. Like, I know that looks really weird, but just to help path things out.
This is very wide compared to. I think that might be throwing it off as well. Maybe you could like bring that in a little bit or something like that. Bring that eye a little bit over once you've sort of moved that.
Yeah, and that way it'll free up some more space here to have an actual side of the face.
I love that you just said side of the face, because it's the thing I always say, and hearing other people say the things I always say is always good.
I've absorbed it from you.
Brilliant. I love it. The Glimmy's sort of mane is really weird if you're like getting it to trying to get it to look like show style sort of thing.
Yeah.
What I always do is I build it up in stages. Boom, boom, muzzle, eye, eye. Yay, glim glim, yay. So for the first part, I start at the back and I go boom, 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 boom. This kind of thing. It's pretty much think of like a car tire on the side of on the back of a head, and then it kind of like goes down into this like flicky bit. I'm weird and I like having like both sides of the head be like the same, so I always do the same kind of a shape, and I just
I
imagine
often do as well.
Yeah.
Usually,
It's just easier for me to sort of understand and all that kind of thing. when
at
I
least
have
put something at the other side, even if it's not symmetrical.
Yeah. And then on top of this, I go through on a separate layer. Let me get a color. And I do this like little flicky, swirly kind of like a thing. And that's just like a little flicky, curly bit of hair and all that sort of stuff. And you just, yeah, something like that sort of makes up Glimmy's hair. It's one out of like all of the other main characters of the series. It's probably one of the most difficult hairstyles for me to draw. So, and then you just erase whatever's behind.
It doesn't help that the show model is not physically possible, so you kind of have to guess your way around it.
Mm.
It's like Rarity looks like it's not possible, but when you actually try to understand it, it is possible. Starlight Glimmer looks possible, and then when you try to understand it, is not. The stripes don't connect. It bothers me very much.
I still it's so nitpicky. I still don't like how Starlight Glimmer's hair is portrayed basically as if like say this is her head, you know, you have a normal center line, but yet the front of her hair randomly starts over here and curves over when the rest of her hair is just down the center and she has this like bald patch right before her horn. That's what
Mm.
always
Should
bugged me about
just
it.
kept her with the equal sign here. That one made sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Evil
that's
hair for life.
when in doubt, artistic interpretations, just have fun with the hair. The color usually sells it.
Mm. Yeah. Just add the like these, and it'll look good. But yeah, it could be if you're like looking to draw Glimmer more, just sit down for like half a day or a day or whatever, and just like try different ways of breaking down the hair, because those sorts of things will also help you in terms of trying to improve your sort of shape understanding and all that kind of stuff. That's what I did to sort of get to this way of breaking down her hair. Is I just like was deciding, okay, I'm drawing this comic. It involves Starlight a lot from a lot of different angles. Let me like pull up a few different pictures of Starlight from the show and then try to understand a way to break it down that works for me. And you know, that doesn't look like show, but it looks like me and my style, and that's enough for me.
I also like looking at
Also,
other artists just to get because there's
Mm.
so many people have interpreted the pony hairdos in so many ways, and sometimes they can really also assist in breaking it down. Since pony was never designed to be 3D, it was always designed to be flash. So when you get other people's heads in it, there's a lot of good opportunity to learn and study and create and interpret the 2D into a 3D.
also to make your life easier, decide which way the swoop ends, because that's just easier. I think brain works better. Because in the show, it's just both sides constantly.
Oh
Mm.
yeah. For all the characters, it's like whatever side doesn't hide the face, that's the side it's on today.
But hers is the most noticeable.
Yeah, that's
The thing is, I
what.
feel like with her, you could make it so you can still see the face, but it didn't bother. I mean, they managed it with Rarity a few times,
Mm.
where they did actually didn't just flip Rarity's hair. It's rare, but they do it sometimes.
It's really hard to find references. I had like one reference of Starlight with where they didn't just like invert her hairstyle as soon as she turned her head. It's hard to find the correct references sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's why I copped out with sort of these things at the side of the head, because that was the main one that was giving me issues. But then I was like, that's the front bit is just like a curl. I've done Rarity a bunch of times. I can do that.
Uh-huh.
I go like this, and then I go like, okay, so this part is okay. Wait, I need a horse face. Oops. There's a horn here. Starts in the middle, and then I go out because I don't know.
Just down to
Her
the
hair
bottom left
doesn't
if you
make
want to
sense,
move the camera a little bit, LD.
Yo.
and then
Yeah, come on.
she's here. I forgot how I usually do it. 'Cause I haven't drawn her in a while.
All right, you got to draw her next.
It's thick, isn't it? There's like a whole other like inside part.
I make like this flat, like this whole area flat,
Yeah, that's kind of what the show
and
implies.
then
I think it's
yeah.
usually like
I think it's
even
just
thicker.
like a stripe, but my brain decided it's flat. And then there's like
I always saw it as being flat. Maybe it's just an optical illusion. Who knows?
her hair stripes also make optical illusions. I don't know who decided this
Yeah,
colors.
yeah. It destroyed my brain so hard when I realized that like this color isn't
Yeah,
lighter.
there's
It's not a fourth color. It's just an optical illusion. What?
I don't remember how Starlight looks like anymore. Something like that.
Oh.
Wait, if I just write Starlight, doesn't give me the pony. She Starlight Glim or Starlight Shimmer?
Glim
Starlight
Glam.
Glimmer.
The
On
ship
site
name. I
shimmer.
mean, we can. I'm fine with that ship. We can pull that through.
Yep.
Oh, I found a hair.
Yeah.
Gosh, I have to
One
keep
side.
moving down here. You keep expanding the canvas past where it should be.
Oh.
I'm just experimenting.
And
How I
another side of the hair. It actually has both sides. It still doesn't make sense. Why doesn't the swoop connect? Why is that line just
Hey, horses. Don't worry about it.
hair?
I'm worried about it, Dom. What if I'm worried?
Well, I'm just gonna get some person to go up behind you and go, "Don't worry about it," over and over.
I love it. I'll be waiting.
Good thing is, there's a song that I can link you to that does the job.
Don't worry, be happy. That one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, shall we move on to our next horse?
Yeah. Good
Okay.
draws.
Yeah.
We
Good as
got a
always, Toto.
zebra.
Zebra.
This one is
90%
by
of this one was just complaining about Starlight's hair. No
by
critique
Sayan.
to Tofu, just the show.
CPC.
You can go now. I was quiet for a long time.
All right, we get to introduce them. I believe in
1.5
you.
seconds is long for CPC.
I don't
It's
even know which picture we're in.
oh my god.
This is a cute horse by cute horse drawing person. They drew a cute horse and now they want critique on it.
Yeah, that's
my
it.
impression of LD.
That's close enough.
Yep. I notice your lines. They are beginner. Is how I would describe them. You appear to be digital. I see some sharpish edges, so it might be with a pen tablet, maybe. Either way, yeah, someone's highlighting it. Whoever's doing that in pink, you take it away.
Yeah. So, if But if you are sort of drawing from your wrist, so while you're drawing, if your wrist is the main thing that's moving, or your fingers are sort of the main thing that's moving, you're going to end up with fairly short lines. And it's hard to sort of get short lines to like look smooth and look clean and all that sort of stuff. But if you instead try to move either your elbow or your shoulder, then you'll end up with these big, long, luscious looking, clean looking lines. So you can let me zoom. I'm zooming way into this top right corner, like super, so that the whole top right corner takes up my thing. And here's me doing wrist lines, boop, 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 pretty short. And then here's me doing sort of elbow and shoulder lines, and they're a lot longer. If you go to draw box, just Google search draw a box, and there's a the first tutorial on that site is about drawing from your elbow, drawing from your shoulder, and having sort of longer, nicer lines. So that will help your lines look a bit more professional and make it look like they're more deliberate as well. But yeah. I also added a little bit more to this hoof. I sort of went through and added some more stuff to it and had this feel a little bit more directional and all that sort of stuff. It's hard to like draw hooves in different shapes and have them sort of look directional and full and all that sort of stuff. But yeah.
Hmm. I do like blue eyes on the gray. It does look good.
It does. Good color combo.
And if we go ahead and look at your other images, it looks like a notable improvement over your last one because you said slowly getting better. Like your lines are looking pretty fancy, although like your head shape is definitely improved on it. Keep it up. Keep going. If this is the first two pictures you've done, I want to see the 10th. Go.
Yeah, especially if you're sort of getting into drawing podiums and that sort of stuff. This is kind of the point where there's going to be like lots of like little weird things all over the picture. So don't stress too much.
All right. Anyone else have any other art they'd like to submit? Any other questions they'd like to ask? Any other guides on Glim Glam?
All right.
Glim Glam.
Okay? A question for everybody. Who's your most favorite main to draw, and who's your least favorite main to draw?
Pumpkin pie. It's the favorite.
Yeah.
Wait, but that was two questions, and she answered it with one answer.
I
I
mean,
mean, I think I made it very clear who my least favorite to draw is.
I think either like either Fluttershy or Rarity. I don't do Rarity very often, but Hermione's very fun to draw.
Rarity's fun,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I'm answering the ones I
Fluttershy
like to
just
draw
has, like-
question.
oh, sorry. I was horrified. How do you not like to draw Fluttershy's mane? It's long and flowy.
Yeah.
I think Twilight is my absolute favorite because there's so much I can
It's
do
fun.
with her mane, and it's so much
That's
fun.
I always really
And-
struggle with the side part of Twilight's mane, but I really like doing the top part.
And I hate Rarities.
Oh,
It's
get out.
just so it's just so
Okay.
annoying. Just
It's
going
a
with
ribbon.
No,
Like,
it's
I think
amazing.
It's
I
a
think with all
mohawk
of them,
ribbon.
if
now
you know how to.
it looks good. It looks great, but it's my
Oh,
attempts to draw
okay.
it always look
But
very
if
amateur.
we're talking about looks good but is annoying to draw, what about Rainbow Dashes because of all the colors?
Oh, true.
I love
I
it.
hate
I
it
love
so
it.
much.
Yeah, see, it's funny. Rainbow
It's
Dash,
great.
she's not my favorite
I'm
character,
fine.
but I tend to sketch her a lot because her main is just like swoosh, 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 poof, swoosh, swoosh, swoosh,
Yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah.
As long as I don't have to shade it, I don't mind
Yeah.
Okay.
rainbows. Because, like, how are you gonna find one color to then multiply? Then I'm gonna have to go back and adjust all the colors by hand. It's very annoying.
Y'all have answered it wrong.
That was my rant.
All right,
Favorite
Zom.
one to draw
Well,
is Zom.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Most hated is I'm gonna
it's
agree with
certainly the
Pix,
easiest
Rarity.
to draw.
I don't like the curls. It's just I'm like
My-
I'm losing track of my curl here.
That is incorrect.
But you
I'll-
want to know who the real most fun main to draw is?
What?
This pony right here in the voice chat. It's fun.
What?
This fluffy.
Yep.
I think he's just buying
That's
brownie
true.
points now.
Pegasus.
How could Fluff?
Ali's fluff is the fluffiest fluff.
You know why? Because you can't get it wrong. You just
Yeah.
whatever you do, it's right.
I have a certain way of doing it. I'm like, and this is fun. I like doing this.
It's like with Pinkie Pie, I have to keep track of the swoops at the front. With Ali Claw, it's
Mhm.
just like poof, and then there's a bandana to make it extra ploofy.
I do find Pinky's quite fun to be creative though. You can be like super messy. Like maybe it's just an explosion of fluff and twirls, or maybe it's sort of methodical and swirly. I don't know.
Alright.
See, for me, my hardest one used to be Twilight because I'd always get so frustrated with how paper-like it was because it's just like a flap. But also
Yeah.
that bump on the top part, it took me the longest time to realize it's just like an S shape, but it's like an S shape
Yeah.
that's curved and the butt's big in the end, and like, this is... But yeah.
To me, it was like figuring that out and adding the little thing where it kind of goes around her face.
Yeah,
Makes it
yeah.
feel less flat. Just a rectangle. Because at the beginning, I just drew a rectangle and slapped it on the head and was like, why doesn't this look like here?
Well, with all these revelations, I think we're gonna call it a day. So thank you all for coming. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.